Once upon a time, in the grand kingdom of Eldoria, there ruled a king named Alaric. He was known throughout the land as the most serious man alive. King Alaric never smiled, never joked, and certainly never tolerated nonsense. His advisors whispered that he was carved from stone, his expressions colder than a winter's frost. The king believed that ruling a kingdom was no laughing matter. His days were filled with laws, decrees, and endless meetings. His palace was spotless, his court formal, and his life utterly joyless. But all of that was about to change. In a tiny, bustling village on the outskirts of Eldoria, there lived a lively and mischievous girl named Lisa. Lisa was the complete opposite of King Alaric. She was a whirlwind of energy and laughter, constantly pulling harmless pranks and finding joy in the smallest of things. Her favorite hobby? Sneaking into the royal orchard and liberating the king's prized golden apples. One fateful day, Lisa was caught mid-apple heist by none other than the king himself. She had climbed the tallest tree in the orchard and was busy stuffing apples into her satchel when Alaric appeared below, his arms crossed and his stern face set in stone. "Do you have any idea whose orchard this is?" Alaric asked, his voice as sharp as a sword. Lisa, dangling from a branch, grinned down at him. "Sure I do. It's mine now." The guards gasped, expecting the king to explode with rage, but instead Alaric was stunned. No one had ever spoken to him like that. Before he could respond, Lisa tossed him an apple and said, "You need this more than I do. Maybe it'll sweeten your sour face." The king, baffled and slightly amused, though he'd never admit it, ordered Lisa to be brought to the palace. "You have a lot of nerve," he told her in the grand hall. "And you have no sense of humor," Lisa shot back, unfazed by his towering presence. Despite her insolence, or perhaps because of it, Alaric found himself oddly intrigued. He decided to punish her in the most unusual way. She was to stay at the palace for a month and learn some manners, but it was the palace that changed. The month of chaos, Lisa Lucky made herself at home, bringing chaos and laughter wherever she went. She painted funny faces on the royal portraits, replaced Alaric's morning tea with fizzy lemonade, and taught the palace staff how to play hide-and-seek during their breaks. At first, Alaric was furious, but as he watched Lisa spread joy through the palace, he began to see the world differently. He even found himself chuckling, just once, when Lisa managed to convince his stoic head advisor to dance like a chicken in front of the court. One night, while walking in the gardens, Lisa noticed Alaric's furrowed brow. "Why so serious all the time?" she asked, tossing a flower at him. "I have a kingdom to run," he replied. "And you think laughter makes you a bad king?" Lisa challenged, her eyes sparkling. "The people love a ruler who can smile. You should try it sometime. It won't break your face, I promise." Alaric couldn't help but laugh at her boldness. For the first time in years, he felt lighter. The magical twist car story, as their bond grew, the kingdom's enchanted lake began to glow, a sign that true love was blossoming, but trouble loomed. A neighboring sorcerer, envious of Eldoria's prosperity, cast a spell over the land, turning everything gray and lifeless. The only way to break the spell was to retrieve a magical gem hidden in the Cave of Echoes, a perilous place filled with riddles and traps. Alaric, ever the responsible king, prepared to go alone, but Lisa wouldn't hear of it. "You'd get lost without me," she teased, grabbing a satchel of snacks and a wooden spoon as her weapon. Together, they ventured into the cave. Alaric's serious nature and Lisa's playful spirit made them the perfect team. When a stone guardian demanded a riddle, Lisa tricked it into laughing with a ridiculous joke. When they faced a maze of mirrors, Alaric's sharp focus guided them through. Finally, they reached the gem, but a magical barrier blocked their way. The inscription read, "Only joy and love can break this spell." Lisa turned to Alaric with a mischievous grin. "Guess it's time for you to finally admit you like me." Alaric, for once, didn't hesitate. "I don't just like you, Lisa. You've brought light into my life. I love you." As he spoke, the barrier shattered, and the gem floated into their hands. The spell over the kingdom broke, and color returned to the land. Happily ever after, back at the palace, the people cheered as Alaric and Lisa returned. The once serious king had transformed, not through magic, but through laughter and love. He asked Lisa to marry him in front of the entire court, declaring, "Every king needs a queen, and I can't imagine a better one than you." Lisa pretended to think, "Only if I get my own wing of the palace for pranks." "Deal," Alaric said, smiling, a real, genuine smile. From that day forward, Eldoria became known as the happiest kingdom in the land, ruled by a king who had learned to laugh and a queen who never stopped making him. Together, they proved that even the sternest hearts can be melted by a little joy and a lot of mischief.